The body of a Lotus Esprit is two halves glued together, and those two halves are trying to come unstuck. You didn't expect that, did you? Nope. And I didn't expect carpentry on a 70s wedge, but as it turns out, I have to fix woodwork on the car too. And I hate splinters. Watch now, as a month's work flits past in just a few seconds. Try that under a hot tin roof. In fact, considering getting videos out is what pays the bills, it's been a rough month all round. Coming home each day, worked to the bone, and having only a few seconds of footage to show for it. So do me a solid and hit like if you like, subscribe, and check out the link below for ways to help out. Now let's watch some more of that delicious sanding. The grey you're seeing is actually the original silver top coat, and the pale grey and white below that are primer layers. I went over everything with 80 grit paper to get the bulk of the white respray and associated yellowish green sanding primer off, and then back over everything again with 240. It all has to be gone over yet again with 320 before I can prime it, but first, there's lots of little fiberglass repairs to do, along with panel prep and alignment, which means finishing the custom hardware for the bonnet hinges. I got some lovely hollow stainless steel to replace the rusty solid bar that made up the factory stuff. Those hinges aren't right, but they're close enough to prove I can get them right with a few more attempts. I had to pick the lesser of two evils and prioritise the shut line of the bonnet, leaving the headlamp pod closest to the camera needing attention to correct its foremost shut line. I'll figure it out. Oh yeah, and the welding on the hinge you saw. I know. It was my first time attempting TIG while shooting stop motion. I'll be welding the final hinge up off camera, because holy chewed food, Ted. So the mission I'm on is to work backward on the car. I mean, front to back. Imagine if I was unrestoring. That'd be silly. So I'm doing one big sweep, tackling everything I encounter as I go. It's time to move into the cabin. The bonded flange of the two body halves has been shaved where it kicks in behind the doors, presumably to give room for the doors opening, and the area is weak as a result. It's common for esprits to start showing crack in here. I'm going to reinforce inside of the join and try to do it without making the whole area too thick for the conventional door seal that slides around the lip. First though, there are the door hinge posts that I ripped off their bonding and repaired way back. I've got to get those painted and back in roughly where they were so that everything lines up. I'd had the glove box inner clamped between two bits of old plywood to press it, like the delicate little flower it is. It's been like that for years, but when I found the ply was just the right amount of 1/2 inch thick to match the piece that had rotted out of the bulkhead, it was time to set it free. The old rotten ply may well have been stronger than what I've done. I'm no carpenter, but at least the bulkhead is sealed now, no more damp rising. I made my best attempt at scarfing the new plywood into the old, and as I worked on the bulkhead I noticed something I've never seen before. The top ply layer has been corrected for knots, beautifully, and with obvious care. It's in stark contrast to the ropey joint I cobbled together, but it begs the question, who was taking the time to delete knots from the surface of plywood back in the day? Time for the last round of repairs to the cabin. The spider cracks, and worse, that have appeared in the door shut areas where the force of the doors closing stressed the fiberglass. After that, all that will remain would be to bond the doorposts back in. It's so good to leave a job you're not sure about sit while you work on something else. And I was back and forth over what to do with the doorposts. The old bonding was a perfect jig to have them sit back where they were originally, but ground back the small amount I had done. There was little room for new adhesive. And finally I realised I could just cut most of it away, whilst leaving small strips in key areas to locate the posts. Along with the 2 screws that could hold the post through existing holes in the bodywork, the job went from being a head scratcher to as simple as applying the adhesive evenly. I even borrowed a fancy double-barrel gun for the 2-part adhesive, but at the last minute I realised maybe it'd be a good idea to seal the whole cabin with a lick of epoxy paint. So I'm holding off. Those are 2 jobs for another day when I've put ducks in rows. And by that I mean ordered epoxy and pigment. Still, the doorpost job is good, and the original witness marks on the crossbeam stand testament to that. There are a few small repairs I forgot about. Not sure whether this one was mice or men. The smaller of the 2 was chewing wires in this area. It's not a problem any further than aesthetics, but I'll fix it. And there's something going on with an inspection hole in the front bulkhead too. I'm not sure if this was factory or aftermarket, but it doesn't look right. When those are taken care of and the floors are sealed, I'll move into the engine compartment for some stripping and cleaning. I've no idea what else I'll find, But a final fine-tooth comb over the whole body and paint will be tantalizingly close. Thanks for watching, and any support, likes and comments. I don't take on paid promotions in video generally, and keep ads to the bare minimum, so patronage is the lifeblood of my work. And it's cliche, I know, but for the price of a coffee, you can get more detail on these videos in behind the scenes clips I send to subscribers. So to new patrons, James, Vincent King, Kaveh Tabar, Eric Stromblad, Sammy Lane, Marcel Blevins, Chip Ray, Patrick McConaughey, Kenneth Duke, Dennis Borgers and Nigel Blake, and to all my patrons, thanks for the backup. I'm off for a wee paddle in the sea and a rest before the dust mask goes back on for another few weeks. I'll see you then with more Esprit Resurrection. Stay stuck in yourself and good luck.